Better late than never, Ice Bear.
The best always comes last.
Well, and in this particular case, that would be you. It's worth the wait. It is.
I would have waited for you easily hours.
Oh, be still my heart.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to welcome everybody in. We're going to welcome in all the Thorns fans because this is our weekly gathering where we bring in an honored guest, where that honored guest has handpicked a Thorns classic. And without further ado, Nadine Angerer, give us a bow and welcome. Hello.
Hello.
The German international played 2 years with Portland, pardon my dog's barking, and is now the club's goalkeeper coach. Okay, friend, you picked the 2015 regular season finale. Let's go back in time. Late August against the Washington Spirit, coached by Mark Parsons. Sold out crowd, Providence Park, perfect backdrop. Why this match, Nadine?
Easy, because it was my last game ever. So I just retired in the national team, but I continued to play for the Thorns, and this was my ever last match. And seriously, it was the best end of my career I could have imagined. It was just super perfect.
So a little context. It was your last match and your beloved teammate, Rachel Van Hallebeck's last match. Rachel obviously deciding she was going to hang it up to go to med school, and she has proceeded to become the good doctor. All right, so walk us through what that day was like for you personally. You announced your retirement from international play in May, and then in August you said, you know what, I'm going to be done with club as well. So we knew, because the Thorns didn't make the playoffs that year, we knew this day was it. Walk us through what it was like this day leading up to your last ever match.
Oh, you mean in the morning, or?
I mean, did it dawn on you? Did you think, oh my God, this is the last time I'm putting on my uniform? It's the last time I'm walking out in front of these crazy fans. What were you thinking? Can you remember?
Oh my God, it's 5 years ago. I just remember that I was relieved. I really was happy. So mentally, I was already done.
Okay.
So because I retired internationally, I knew I'm going to retire on the club base after this game. So I was full of pure happiness, because how lucky am I to have my last game in the city I love, in front of these amazing fans. I couldn't have wrote a better book. It's perfect. So it was just an amazing day.
It was an interesting beginning and end. The beginning of the match had you and Rachel addressing the crowd. And then, just to remind folks too, and I don't know if you remember this, Nadine, as fans were filing into the stadium, they were given cutout numbers, the number 1, your number, and the number 16, Rachel's number. And when that number coincided with the game clock, everybody waved their numbers. So obviously, folks had to get settled in, because you wearing number 1, people were waving the number 1. 20,000 folks were waving that cutout number in your honor. Do you remember that at all?
I still get goosebumps. Look at. Of course I do remember. You know what? Normally throughout my whole career, during the game, I was in a tunnel. I never saw anything left, right. I was so focused on the game. And I remember this game, I didn't care if I conceded a goal, whatever. I just really, I saw everything. I think it was one of the onlyest matches I ever played. I had time to look around and the energy. I seriously, I still remember this feeling. So I was like, we didn't make the playoffs, so it was just a pure game to enjoy, and I enjoyed every single second.
And it was a wild game. I mean, speaking of, the Spirit, coached by Mark Parsons, I have to say that again.
Yes.
The Spirit go up 2-0.
Yeah.
You guys come roaring back in the second half and score 3 unanswered. And then moments after the go-ahead goal, they equalize. So a little bit of a party spoiled, and yet, I'll never forget, and you can help us. You're doing the victory walk around the stadium in front of a sold out crowd. And they are serenading you, cheering for you. You and Rachel then clasp hands and bow in front of the riveters and then go into that section with those crazy cats and have one last love affair with you wearing Portland gear. Walk us through that too. I get chills thinking of that.
Yeah, me too. But first of all, I could have walked like 10 times around the stage. And then I was so happy that Rachel was there, because I think I would have felt like so alone, even if there were so many people. So I was so happy that I was able to grab Rachel. So someone was in the same situation. So I was very happy that I could share all this emotion with Rachel. So it was perfect.
And going up into the riveters, into that crowd, that section, I mean, the whole stadium.
I mean,
but the riveters in particular.
Yes.
Going up, I was afraid we weren't going to see you again. I thought you were just going to get swallowed up there.
Yeah, that's actually how I felt. Yeah, I like this emotion when we were up on the little stage and we're celebrating together, and I don't know, just this energy. I really wanted to jump in with the head first and just enjoy and celebrate and dance with everyone.
It was like a mosh pit. Woohoo!
With them on top of it, but it was just it was such a good end, perfect. And I just want to say, even if it's like 5 years ago, just thank you again.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And it was an interesting time. You know, a lot of folks were thinking, Nadine, what are you doing? You're still, at your peak. I know it's been 2 decades of playing at the highest level. You got your 2 world championships, 5 UEFA European championships, 2013 World Player of the Year. That never goes to a keeper. And you even said, I've got gas left in the tank, but I'm walking away. How did you know this was the time to say, boots are off, gloves are off for good?
So first of all, I easily could have played like 2-3 more years. I know, but that what people just see is like this 90 minutes on the field, but it's so much work, and I was tired of like the pressure, going out. So my whole life I was like determined by the sport, and I needed to be free. And I could have handled more pressure, but I didn't want anymore. I was not injured. I was still in a good condition. So in the end, for me, it was important that I made a decision. No one else made it a decision. So no injury, no coach, I mean, how lucky am I that my national team coach asked me, can you please keep playing 1 more year for the Olympics? And I said, no. So no one else made a decision except me. And
how powerful. How powerful is that?
Yeah, and I still think it was the right decision. And working now with AD, I think everything came together. Mark Parson was in my last game. He was the coach of the opponent. Now we work together. How lucky am I to train with AD now? She came to Portland. I think it was the right decision, even if I didn't know at this time that it's gonna be the right decision. It was perfect.
Do you have a favorite memory from the 2 years you wore the Thorns kit, 2014, 2015? I mean, your career started with that shutout, but it was in Houston. Your career with the Thorns started with the clean sheet at Houston.
Yeah.
Was that your favorite because it was your first? Is there a game or two that stick out for you besides, of course, this last one? Your swan song.
Better one. It's always gonna be my favorite one. But oh my God, when I think about the first home game.
Oh, Sink said you gotta wait for these fans.
Yes, at first of all, Sinky and I will always have been close, and she's like, wait until you see the fans and feel the fans. I'm like, I can handle this. I mean, and then I step out, I'm like, holy moly, what? I was so nervous, and I had so much pressure because Karina Leblanc was playing there, and people liked Karina Leblanc so much. I'm like, oh my God, now I replaced her, so I have to be good. And I want to make the people feel that I really enjoy playing here. I didn't kick her out of the goal. I just want to be here. So I really had the feeling I need right away from the first game. I need to give back. So and oh God, I was so happy when the first game was over, and I had
big win for you guys too.
Yeah, 3-1 against Kansas City, and I felt so relieved after the game that everything went well and we won. So this game sticks out to me, and oh my God, the Seattle game was a very important game. If we
2014,
yes, if we make the playoffs or not, so we really had to win this game to make the playoffs, and I think we won 1-0, and it was oh my God. Goodness, it was so good. Like the energy in the locker room, we really wanted to win this game as a team, and I think we forced this win. So we wanted it so badly, and yeah.
Great memories. Would you agree that when you were playing, that you were not the typical introverted keeper? I mean, on the pitch, no question, you were a beast. But then friends, teammates, opposing players, they got to know you. Neighbors in your community, they got to know you off the pitch and said you were just a blast. Beast, blast. How did you? Would you agree? You had a couple of different personalities going on.
100%. I never watched the game back from myself, because I'm like, who is this? Who is this? Even if we made a video on analyze the game, I'm like, oh, I can't see myself. Who is this? But I couldn't control myself. As soon as I was on the pitch, I'm like, that's not me. It's just, I don't know. So because off the field, I'm a completely different person. I'm very chilled, and I just love people. And on the pitch, I'm like, I don't know what happened here.
What happened here?
Oh
well,
God.
it was interesting to watch the dichotomy of Nadine Angerer. And because, I mean, you're so happy-go-lucky off the pitch, and then on it, I remember you staring down Marta in that penalty kick situation in particular. Right? Was that 2007 World Cup, right? Yeah. And I mean, you just had the big mean on like crazy. And then a half hour later, you're probably having a beer.
Oh, yeah. But it was right away, directly after the game. I don't know. I switched to normal Nadine. So I don't know. I think I really loved what I was doing, and I think it was, I don't know, kind of. I always felt like I have to protect my team. I
got you. Okay.
I don't know what it was, and I always wanted to win. I hated to lose, so I don't know.
Okay, true or false? Early on, when the Riveters were giving it to opposing keepers, chanting "Dodgy keeper, dodge," did you really think they were saying Justin Bieber?
I saw it for at least 5 home games. It's not that after the first game I asked, I was so sure that it was Justin Bieber, and I was like, oh, maybe there is a running joke going on and I don't get it. And or maybe he was in the stands and watched the game. And I was like,
yeah, maybe. Right. Okay. But that's true. So that's true. You thought they were saying Justin Bieber.
Yeah. But I said, oh, there is something going on. I don't know. And then after the 4th or 5th home game, secretly, I asked Sinky, and I like, Sink, why they're singing Justin Bieber? I asked her in the locker room. She was dying laughing. She couldn't hold back. She was like, what are you thinking? And she was, and she told everything.
Leave it to Sink, because the story is the legend of Nadine Angerer has also included the Justin Bieber story. So you got to kind of live with that one, friend.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Got to ask you how the Portland Thorns goalkeeper job came about. I think you were quoted as saying, I'm finished with my career at Portland. I'll come back and vacation. I'll come back and visit. And boom, you never left. So how did Mark Parsons, who came in 2015, convince you to stay as his keepers coach? How'd that transpire?
First of all, I didn't know if I want to work as a goalkeeper coach. So my plan after, I was a professional athlete for like 20 years. I'm like, okay, I take 1 year off and travel around the world. This was my plan. But then I had such really, really good conversations with Gavin and Mark, and I hope he never hears that. But from day one, I loved Mark. He's such a good human being, and I felt directly our connection. We have the same ideas. Most of the time, I don't know. I like him as a human being, and the way how he sings as a coach. I'm like, I need to give this a chance. So I signed for a 1 year contract.
Okay.
And then I after 2 months or something, I extended the directly, because first of all, I really liked the challenge with AD and the goalkeepers at this time. I liked working as a goalkeeper coach, and I just like our staff, especially my daily work with Mark. I really enjoy it. So, and on top, that's why I think I never left. I really, Magda, my wife, and we love it here in Portland. We really, truly love it. And this was another factor which influenced our decision to stay here.
Lucky us. I mean, I know you were introduced to Portland way back in 2003 with some World Cup experiences, brief visit here in Portland. And you saying, I can't imagine living in the United States, but I can imagine living in Portland. And I thought, boy, is that Nadine or what? And here you are.
Exactly, yeah. No, it's just, I was here the first time, I think, 2003. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you go somewhere and you don't feel like this energy. Even maybe other people tell you, like, this is an amazing city. It doesn't matter, any city in the world. And you go there and you don't feel the energy. When I arrived 2003, the first time in Portland, it's not a joke. It's not a fluffy story. I felt like the energy here. I really, really loved it. And I never at this time was thinking that I ever come back here to Portland. How? It was a World Cup city.
Right.
And then 2014, I arrived here again, and I exactly had the same feeling again. So it's, that's
magical.
Yeah, it's magical. Yeah, good word.
Last few minutes, I want to touch on some things that your fans are gonna love hearing about. Let's start with your dancing escapades, dancing on ice. Your appearance last December on that German show. How the heck did you get talked into doing that? And how did you train? And how did you do?
Yeah, good question. So I think last summer I got the offer, and they asked me if I want to do it. The first time I read the request, I'm like, what? Dancing on ice? First of all, I can't dance, and of course I can't dance on ice. So, but the next thought was like, what a cool challenge! Of course I'm doing it. So first of all, I had to talk to Mark, and I asked him, and I spoke with Gavin, and they gave me their green lights. So I was actually training. Yeah. So I was training in the evening or in the nights. My partner, who was with me on the show, he came for 2 months to Portland. So every night we trained at the Lloyd Center because I couldn't ice skate. And of course I couldn't figure ice skating. So we had
partner. Did your ice skating partner have any idea that you had no idea what you were doing? Would it eat a short straw or what the heck?
I think he expected the worst, and it was even worse than he expected. But I have to say, he was very patient, and we had so many laughs during it was really, I really, really enjoyed it. So we trained at the Lloyd Center every night when the mall was closed. We rented the ice rink, and so almost every night we trained from 10 p.m. to midnight.
And you got better and better and better. And how did you do when the show actually was taped?
Yeah. So 50% was like the people who us, and 50% was like the people, the jury who gave us points.
The judges, yep.
I think because I'm honest, and there's I was bad, to make it short. I was not good, but I had fun, and I think people saw that I really enjoyed it. So people called, and so I ended up in the semifinal. But
you made it to the semifinals?
I don't know how. I was by far the worst. I was.
But everybody loves you. Hey, sometimes it's good to be loved like that.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually was every week. I was in every show, so I really enjoyed it, and I don't want to miss this time. Not
That's
the
hilarious.
not the show time, because it was a very good experience.
Ice clear and ice skating. Okay. All right. So tick that one off. Number 2, back in 2015, you wrote, with some help, your autobiography. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, tell me a little more about that. How was it received? Did you enjoy writing that? And can we get it in English?
No, I'm actually happy that it's not in English, because I don't want my goalkeepers to read it.
That's another story, I think, but okay.
And they would think I'm totally crazy.
Okay, I think that cat has left the bag. I think that ship has sailed. Yeah, okay, but go on.
No, it was really fun to write it, because while I was writing it, you start to reflect and reflect and reflect. It really helped me, and I'm like, wow, have I been really that dumb sometimes? Yes. Okay, okay, cool. Yeah, but so I really, and it was very good received. So a lot of people bought the book. So I think
Congratulations, that's huge. You wrote a book, Nadine.
yeah.
That's huge.
Thank you. Yeah.
Last thing, are you still into hats? I know that hats have been a big part of your life. Hats and caps. Hats and caps still a big part?
Yes. Not right now, but yes. Normally, yes.
You know, you arrived in 2014, my dear, dear friend, and you've never left. And I'm not sure if there has ever been or will ever be a more revered or beloved Thorn as a player and as a coach. The feeling is mutual, it appears. And can you wrap up this interview with just a short message to the Thorns fans as we continue to navigate around COVID-19? And a message from you will go a long way in terms of inspiration and hope. What do you got?
Yeah, I think first of all, I'm very happy that we see a little bit light at in the end of the tunnel, and I think we should stay very positive. What we have done lately, I think I met so many people, and I spoke with so many different people, and everybody was still so positive, and I think we really need to stay positive, and and I can't wait to be back on the field in the stadium with everyone together, healthy together, and and I really hope, especially in hard times like this, that we come even closer together.
Nadine, thank you so much. Thanks for picking this memorable match. Tip of the cap to you and your teammate, Rachel Van Hallebeck. Maybe we can send her this interview, because obviously she was such a one of the originals and a treasured Thorn for 3 years. So tip of the cap to you and Rachel. And as always, thanks everybody to watch. And Nadine, thank you so much for taking your time.
Always again. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Ann.
Cheers. We'll do it again. I just keep the phone handy. We'll do it again. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Go Thorns. Over and out.
Over and out.